Assalamu alaikum. Today I'm going to tell you how to write a research proposal. The objective of this lesson is to give you awareness about how to make the research proposal, and inshallah by the end of this lecture you will be able to write proposal with proper guidelines. The subtopics that we are going to cover today includes the definition of the research proposal, introduction to research proposal, guidelines to write research proposal, common mistakes that should be avoided in a research proposal, and the do's and the don'ts. So starting with the definition of the research proposal, you can define research proposal in different ways. There are different terminologies depending on why the research is carried out. Okay, so it is known as sometimes as research outline, sometimes as synopsis of research, plan of research, research project or proposal, thesis plan, etc. Sometimes it is also known as application. Okay, application in the sense that this is for the approval of the research. This kind of application is given to the head of the department or your research teacher who is teaching you research, so that they will approve and allow you to do research on that particular topic, on all those conditions, on that methodology, everything that is mentioned in the detail of the proposal. Sometimes it is also known as a blueprint for future activities of research project, some sort of preconceived framework for writing the activities. Sometimes it deals with the ideas of researcher about what research she wants to do, what are the objectives and the methodology, how much time and the resources are required to complete it, and how the findings are to be reported, and so on. So these are the things which are should be there in the research proposal. Research proposal basically deals with the ideas of researcher about what she or he, that is the researcher, wants to do, what are the objectives and the methodology, the time and the resources, the research findings, and so on. So it is basically is an individuals or institutes formal offer to produce a product or render service to client in response to a request from the client. Basically, this definition that is mentioned here is related with the research proposal that is sent by some company in order to ask for the approval of any particular project. Okay, for you, because it's academic, so that is different from this particular point. So it is also known as a work plan, a prospective outline, and the statement of intent ahead. So in short, basically a researcher is proposing a framework for completing the research. Now, when you think about writing the research proposal, there are few questions that will come in your mind. And in relation to those questions, there are specific steps that should be mentioned in the research proposal and the elements that are important in those steps. Okay, you can see this chart. This chart is very helpful in writing the research proposal. When a question comes in your mind that what is the problem, means you have already decided your research topic, right? Now what is that problem in that research topic and why it should be studied, right? In order to find out the answer, the step that you have to take is the selection and the statement of the problem. You have to focus on the problem, what is missing, what is lacking, what is important in this point, right? And the elements that has to be there in this particular step is problem identification and problem prioritization and its justification, that this is the thing, this is the problem, and this is how I am going to justify it or prove it. Now second question that might come in your mind, or you can say the third question, basically, what information is already available, right? If you're thinking about or planning about doing anything on any particular topic, so what kind of literature is available? So you will go through the literature review, all you will point out all the sources and all the reviewing. Then next question, why do you want to conduct research? What is the achievement of the research? So why it is important to focus on this particular research topic? So the step related with this is the formulation of the objectives and the aims, right? So objectives basically includes the broader goals and the narrow down aims. Basically, it comes under the objectives, but it covers each and everything. What are you planning to do? Okay, hypotheses are also somewhat related with the objectives. When we'll discuss these objectives in detail, then I'll tell you how to write hypotheses and objectives. Okay, the next question that will come in your mind is how to carry out the research, how to collect data and information, where from the data can be collected. All this is included in research methodology. Okay, so basically research methodology includes the variables, the type of the research, data collection technique, sampling, data analysis process or plan, then data interpretation, that how you are going to interpret your data. Then next question, who will collect and when? How? ओके, हाउ का तो जवाब हो गया कि ठीक है कि क्या करना है, कैसे करना है. अब करेगा कौन और कौन प्लान, कौन कलेक्ट करेगा, कैसे कलेक्ट करेगा, राइट? सो इट मीन्स योर वर्क प्लान, हाउ यू आर गोइंग टू कलेक्ट द डेटा, your timetable, your manpower. Sometimes you will ask other people to collect data for you, right? So how many people you want to involve with you with your research, right? All this should be planned out. How will be monitored, how the research findings will be used. So administration plan, how it will be administered, वो जो आपका टूल है. सो और अगर क्वेश्चनर सॉल्व करवा रहे हैं तो वो कैसे उसको एडमिनिस्टर करेंगे, उसको कैसे मॉनिटर करेंगे, ऑब्जर्वेशन है या इंटरव्यू है, हाउ विल यू एडमिनिस्टर दैट, हाउ विल यू मॉनिटर दैट. Then next is what and how much resources are needed and who will provide those resources. This is the step related with the budgeting and funding organization. Right now, because it is your academic research, so fundings usually sometimes are not provided. However, HECN, there are other areas or other companies as well who might provide fundings as well if your research is on large scale and need a lot of money and resources. There are three M's that need to be point out in this particular point step. Three M's: men, material and money. So fund collection, fundraising, all the things will be included in this if you are including, if your research is on a very large scale. Who will submit, how to submit and where to submit. This is another very important point कि किसको submit कराना है. So basically proposal preparation, proposal presentation and appropriate authority. Researcher, proposal, presentation techniques all should be included here, and then when you are going to submit it. Some of the important guidelines on writing a research proposal are mentioned here. Proposal writing is important to your pursuits of graduate degree. The proposal is in fact an intellectual, scholastic contract between you and your committee. It specifies what you will do, how you will do, and how you will interpret the result. The objective in writing a proposal basically is to describe what you will do, why should it be done, how will you do it. So you have to be clear from the very beginning about all these things so that you can complete it on time. A vague and weak or fuzzy proposal can lead to a long, painful, and often unsuccessful writing exercise. Okay, so basically you have to plan out the things before, you have to be clear about each and every step and everything you are doing. If you focus on those questions which I've just discussed in the previous two slides, then it will be easy for you how to manage your work and how to write the research proposal. So a clean, well thought out proposal forms the backbone of your thesis or your research proposal. The structures are identical, and through the miracle of the word processing, you can complete your research proposal and your research as well. Okay, so you have to, for that, you have to write the first draft as well, and then you can revise it in order to make a one. There are some mistakes that usually people do in writing a research proposal. Focusing on these mistakes means that you have to avoid these mistakes. Okay. Number one is failure to provide the proper context to frame the research question. This is related with the research problem कि क्या है, कहाँ है, किस तरह से आपने करना है, ठीक है, the context क्या है आपकी research का. Failure to delimit the boundary conditions for your research. You have to mention the boundaries, you have to mention your limits, that this is what I am doing and there are many other possibilities and many other directions of this particular research area. Failure to cite landmark studies, the important studies that in that particular field, you have to mention that. Failure to accurately present the theoretical and the empirical contribution by other researchers, means you have to write a proper research literature review. Failure to stay focused on the research question, this is very important. When you have decided on any particular research topic, then your research objective should be based on that, and on the basis of the objective your research question should be there, and all the things that you are doing should be based on that particular focused research question. You should not go here and there, or you should not include any irrelevant things. Okay, you have to be focused. Then failure to develop a coherent and persuasive argument for the proposed research. Basically, as I have told you, that this is a kind of an application, so you have to write in a persuasive manner. Persuasive arguments should be there so that your research proposal will get accepted. If it get rejected, then you won't be allowed to do the research. Okay, I'll discuss this point in detail on discussion board. Too much detail on minor issues but not enough details on major issues. Too much rambling, going over all over the map without a clear sense of direction. Too many citations, lapses and incorrect references. You have to include all the correct references, and it should the length should be very appropriate, not too long or not too short. Now these are some of the do's and the don'ts. Now do prepare your proposal. That should be very professional looking, and it should be interesting and informative, and especially it should be meaningful. Whatever you are writing should have a proper connection with each and every heading, and everything should be meaningful. Write easy way to read. It should be written in such a way that any reader can easily read and understand whatever is mentioned in the proposal. Present content page is very important to guide the reader through all the headings and the subheadings, and the headings and subheadings should also be very clear in its presentation and in the content page as well. Whatever is written should be very precise and concise. There should be no spelling mistakes. Grammatically it should be correct, all the spellings should be correct, and everything whatever you have written should be present in the accurate and acceptable format, and that format is 12 font size and New Times Roman. Now there are two important don'ts that you have to keep in your mind while writing the proposal. Number one is, don't use a word which you do not understand. The word which you don't understand, you won't be able to make that concept clear to your reader or your supervisor. That's why be sure that whatever you are using, whatever word you are using, it's clear to you so that you can make it clear to your readers. Secondly, the difficult word, if you are thinking of adding difficult words in the proposal, then it will give a negative impression to the reader and supervisor. It won't give a positive or a good impression. Always use the words and the concepts for which you are clear, and you can easily present that in the proposal. Everything should be clear and easy to read and understand. So that's all for this video. We are going to cover some more points in the next video. Thank you.